Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make an Iron Man statue from Captain America Civil War. And this statue isn't designed to be built alone, it's designed to be made along with its twin, Captain America. So in this scene we have Iron Man flying in the air, firing a laser at Captain America. Captain America is bracing himself, he's raising his shield as not to be hit by the laser. You can make either of these statues alone, or, as I would recommend, make them in a pair, because they really do paint a picture, they tell a bit of a story, and I think that they definitely look better together rather than split up. If you want to make them both alone, that's perfectly fine, but Iron Man is getting posted first, right now, today. Captain America is getting posted tomorrow, so tomorrow, if you're watching this video on the day it's posted, tomorrow you'll be able to find Captain America in both the card system and the description below, but if it is the day of posting, then you'll have to wait until tomorrow. My apologies, but we're starting with Iron Man first. Let's get to it. Okay, so if you want to make Iron Man, here's what you're going to need. Grab yourself some block of diamond and some sea lanterns. You'll need some nether brick and some cyan stained clay. Grab yourself some red wool, some yellow wool, some white wool, and finally grab yourself some web. Those are the only materials that we're going to be needing, so once you have each one of those, and once you've figured out where you want to make him, I'll be making him right here. Here's what you need to do first. So I designed Iron Man to be 8 blocks off of the ground. You can make him higher, but remember that the higher you make him, the longer the laser's going to be, and it causes a whole bunch of weird complications. So I'd make him roughly, give or take, some 8 blocks off of the ground. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And on top of this 8th block, we're going to start the actual process. So we're going to place a nether brick on top of this 8th block. Then we're going to go right of this nether brick by 2 of the red wool, 2 nether brick, 2 red wool, 1 nether brick. And we're going to move the nether brick and the red wool closer together, because otherwise this is going to drive us mental. On top of this row that we've created right here, going from left to right, we want to do an entire row of red wool. For the next row, do 1 nether brick, 2 red, 2 nether brick, 2 red, 1 nether brick. For the next row, do an entire row of nether brick. For the next row, an entire row of red. For the next row, do 1 red, 2 nether brick, 2 red, 2 nether brick, 1 red. For the next row, do 1 nether brick, 2 red, 2 nether brick, 2 red, 1 nether brick. For the next row, do an entire row of red wool. For the next row, do 1 nether brick, 2 yellow, 2 nether brick, 2 yellow, 1 nether brick. And for the next 2 rows, do 1 yellow, 2 cyan stained clay, 2 yellow, 2 cyan stained clay, 1 yellow. And like I said, that's for 2 rows. So once you got that first one done, of course, do the exact same thing to the next one. For the next row, do 1 nether brick, 2 red, 2 nether brick, 2 red, 1 nether brick. For the next row, do 1 red, 2 nether brick, 2 red, 2 nether brick, 1 red. For the next row, do 1 yellow, 1 red, 1 nether brick, 2 red, 1 nether brick, 1 red, 1 yellow. For the next row, do 1 yellow, 1 red, 4 nether brick, 1 red, 1 yellow. For the next row, do an entire row of red wool. For the next row, do 1 nether brick, 2 red, 2 nether brick, 2 red, 1 nether brick. And for the next row, do 1 yellow, 2 nether brick, 2 red, 2 nether brick, 1 yellow. For the next row, do 1 red, 1 yellow, 4 red, 1 yellow, 1 red. For the next row, do 3 nether brick, then 2 sea lanterns, then 3 nether brick. For the next row, do 1 nether brick, 1 red, 1 nether brick, 2 sea lanterns, 1 nether brick, 1 red, 1 nether brick. For the next row, do 1 nether brick, 2 red, 2 nether brick, 2 red, 1 nether brick. For the next row, do 1 cyan stained clay, 1 yellow, 4 red wool, 1 yellow, 1 cyan. And for the final row up here, at the top of the torso, we want to do 2 cyan, then 1 yellow, 2 red wool, 1 yellow, then 2 cyan stained clay. And we'll end up with something that should look a little bit like this. Doesn't that look complicated? But it looks lovely, doesn't it? So that is Iron Man's torso, or at least the front of his torso, pretty much complete. Now, once you've got that taken care of, we're now going to build the back of Iron Man, then we're going to give him his sides, his arms, his head, and his laser, all that stuff. So once you've got the front taken care of, we now want to come all the way around to the back here, and we want to take each one of the bottom back 2 corners of Iron Man's torso and extend them back each by 3 with the nether brick. That's 1, 2, 3. And this will be, 1, 2, 3. You then want to connect them together, starting with this left third nether brick, and you want to do 2 red wool, 2 nether brick, 2 red wool. Perfect. Now, we want to replicate this row that we have right here, and we want to do it 2 more times on top of itself. So that'll be 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So we want to have 3 of that initial row. Then, for the next row, going from left to right, do 1 nether brick, 2 cyan clay, 2 nether brick, 2 clay, 1 nether brick. For the next row, do 1 red, 2 clay, then 2 red, 2 clay, 1 red. For the next 2 rows, do 1 nether brick, 2 red, 2 nether brick, 2 red, 1 nether brick. And remember, that's for 2 rows, so once you've done that once, do it again. Then, for the next row, going from left to right, do 1 yellow, 2 red, 2 yellow, 2 red, 1 yellow. Then do 2 rows of yellow. That'll be 1 row of yellow, and this will be 2 row of yellow. Then, for the next row, going from left to right, do 2 yellow, 4 nether brick, 2 yellow. For the next row, do an entire row of nether brick. For the next 2 rows, do 2 red, 1 nether brick, 2 red, 1 nether brick, 2 red. And remember, that's for 2 rows, so once you've done that once, do the same thing once again. Then, for the next row, do 1 red, 1 yellow, 4 nether brick, 1 yellow, 1 red. For the next row, do 1 red, 1 yellow, 1 nether brick, 2 red, 1 nether brick, 1 yellow, 1 red. Let me just adjust my plans here, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. For the next row, we want to this is for 2 rows, do 2 red, 1 nether brick, 2 red, 1 nether brick, 2 red. And remember, that is for 2 rows, so once you've done that once, do that again. For the next row, do 2 red, 4 nether brick, 2 red. For the next row, do 1 red, 2 nether brick, 2 yellow, 2 nether brick, 1 red. For the next row, do 1 nether brick, 1 red, 1 nether brick, 2 yellow, 1 nether brick, 1 red, 1 nether brick. For the next row, do 1 nether brick, 2 red, 2 nether brick, 2 red, 1 nether brick. For the next row, do 2 cyan, 4 red wool, 2 cyan. For the next row, do 3 nether brick, 2 red wool, 3 nether brick, and you'll be left with something that should look a little bit like this. And there you go, that is the back of Iron Man. Pretty simple, isn't it? Not too difficult. Once you've got that taken care of, it's now time for us to move on to the sides. And let me just gather my plans for a second. Perfect. Once you've got that taken care of, you now want to come all the way over to the left-hand side of your Iron Man's body, and starting all the way down at the bottom of the feet here, you want to, on top of these rows, and we do both of these we do these in rows exactly how we've been doing the other rows. We want to start off this side by doing 7 rows of red wool, so that'll look like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 rows of red at the bottom to start this off. We then want to do 3 rows of yellow, that'll be 1, 2, and 3. Then 1 row of nether brick, 1 row of red, 2 rows of yellow, 1 row of red, 1 row of nether brick, 1 row of yellow, 1 row of red, 1 row of nether brick, and then the arm will cover up the rest, so you can just fill the top part of this in with red. So you want to have something which should look a little bit like this. It actually looks pretty good once the arm's done. Once you've got that taken care of on this side, you want to go ahead and do the same thing on the opposite side. And this is easier because for this side, all you have to do to complete this is just look directly over at what you've just done on the other side. So you can literally, can you see? You can just literally copy what you've done. You don't really have to do anything other than just look over and copy. You don't have to count out those rows again. All you have to do is just use your eyes, copy what you've got over there, and everything will be okay. Trust me, it'll be okay. I'm here. So we've got the nether brick here, and then we can just fill the rest of this in with red wool, because once again, those top 4 or 5 rows are going to get hidden by the arm. And there you go, you've got the majority of Iron Man's body here. And you know what, we don't usually add the head before anything else, but we're going to be adding the head, then we'll do the arms, because the arms are a little bit different to everything else. So once you've got the torso taken care of, you want to come all the way up to the top front of the body, and on top of these 8 original blocks of the torso, stack a row of 8 red wool. So right at the top front of the statue. Then extend this row out in front of the statue by 1 row with the red. Then for the next row building in front of it, going from left to right, do 1 red wool, 2 nether brick, 2 yellow, 2 nether brick, 1 red wool. For the next row building on top of this, going from left to right, 1 red wool, 1 nether brick, 1 yellow, 2 nether brick, 1 yellow, 1 nether brick, 1 red. For the next row, do 1 red, 6 yellow wool, that is all of them but the end block, and then throw a red on the end. For the next row, do an entire row of yellow wool. Then for the next row, do 1 yellow, then either 2 white wool or 2 sea lanterns, 2 yellow, 2 sea lanterns, 1 yellow wool. And you know what? I thought I might like the sea lanterns better than the white, but I'm actually going to use white instead of the sea lanterns. That was a bit of an experiment. I like white better. I thought sea lanterns might look better. I was completely wrong. Although you might like it. Do whichever you prefer. For the next row, do 1 nether brick, then 6 yellow wool, 1 nether brick. For the next row, do 1 red, 2 yellow, 2 nether brick, 2 yellow, 1 red wool. For the final row of the head, do 1 red wool, 2 yellow, then 2 red, 2 yellow, 1 red. To give you something, that should look a little bit like this. And that is Iron Man's mask. That's the front of his face. Once you've got the front of his face taken care of, you now want to come to the side of his head. And you want to... Can you see where we have the yellow on the side of his head? Well, going left of this yellow wool, we want to do a row of 2 red wool. So coming out towards the back. We then want to do a layer of nether brick, 2 layers of red wool. And then we want to go all the way around the outside of these 4 red wool with our nether brick. So on top of them, underneath and to the left, we want to have nether brick. So kind of in a square formation. We then want to do the same on the opposite side. So on the opposite side where we have this yellow wool, we want to do a row of red, then nether brick, then 2 rows of red, then nether brick underneath, to the right of, and on top of all of that. And they're the only bits of detail in Iron Man's head other than his face. We then want to take out the red wool. We want to take this first initial row of red that we placed to place his face. We want to extend this until it overhangs the back of the statue by 2 rows. That will be 1 row, and this will be 2 rows. We then want to raise up the back corners of the head until they are equal height with the front of the head, connect them together with the front of the head, and also connect them together as well. So you want to connect them, both of the back corners together, as well as to the front of the head. And you'll end up, once you've filled it in, by the way, once you've formed that shape, fill it in with red wool. And once you've done that, you've pretty much completed Iron Man's head. It's really, really simple. There's nothing much to it whatsoever. Pretty simple statue, really. And all we have to do once we have completed Iron Man's head, I almost said Iron Man's head, which is a little bit weird. It makes him sound like there's more Iron Men, which I guess there is, technically, because of War Machine and the fact that Iron Man has about 50 bajillion suits in his evil lair, so... or layer of fortitude. You know what? Evil and good are really... You know, who can say which side is which? Once we've got this taken care of, and we have got this taken care of, we have now fully completed the head. Nice and easy, isn't it? Not too difficult. Nothing too difficult about that. We can then move on to the next bit, which is going to be Iron Man's arms. Okay, so arm number 1, first of all, we're taking care of the right-hand side of Iron Man, because this is going to be what I call the boring arm of Iron Man. It's not really shooting any lasers or anything, so come onto the right-hand side of Iron Man, and starting from this top, front right-hand corner of Iron Man's torso where we have the cyan stained clay, we want to go right of this clay by 4 with the red wool. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. We then, underneath this row of 4 red wool, want to add another row of red. Then 2 rows of yellow, that'll be 1, and this will be 2. Then do a row of red. Then for the next row, do a, going from left to right, never break, 2 red, 1 never break. Then do 2 rows of red, this will be 1, and this will be 2. You then want to take the bottom 2 corners here, and you want to extend them coming out in front of the statue by 2 with the red wool, then 2 never break. We then want to connect each one of those second never breaks together. We want to take each one of those second never breaks and we want to raise them up each by 3. That's 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Connect them together at the top. Then take each one of those top 2 corners, extend them back towards the statue each by 1 with the never break. And then you can kind of just fill in the gaps. You can then make the rest of the arm here, except for the front of the palm, make it red. And this is going to be Iron Man's hand kind of in an idling position, getting ready for a second shot. And what we're going to do is we're just going to fill the center of this hand in with a block of diamonds. So it's just going to be diamond in the center of this hand. And that's the front of the arm. It's kind of at a 90-degree angle. Now, once you've got that taken care of, this is what you want to do next. Obviously, we want to make this nice in 3D. So what we can do is we can take the top back 2 corners of the arm, extend them back each by 3. That's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Fill the top of that shape in. Extend this back row of red down by 1 layer with red, 2 layers with the yellow, 1, 2, 1 layer of red. Going from left to right, you want to do 1 never break, 2 red, 1 never break. Then 2 layers of red, that's 1 and 2. And you can see that we've now copied the front. What we can then do is we can fill the side of the arm in here. Starting from the top, we want to do a row of red, 2 rows of yellow. You might be able to see how this is going. Then you want to do 3 rows of red coming down. And then you can fill the bottom of the arm in with red wool. So we'll just end up with something that should look like this. And this is just Iron Man's arm at a 90-degree angle. He's not really powered up his laser. It's just diamond, which means, you know, nothing's going on yet. That's his arm at a 90-degree angle. Once you've got that arm taken care of, we can now take care of what I like to refer to as the fun arm. So come all the way over to the opposite side of Iron Man's torso, the left-hand side this time. You want to take this top back left-hand corner of Neverbrick here on the left-hand side of the statue and extend it coming out of the statue by 4 with the red wool. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. We then want to take that row 4 and extend it towards us by 1. Then do 2 rows of yellow. 1, 2. For the next row, going from left to right, 1 red, 2 yellow, 1 red. For the next row, do 1 never break, 2 red, 1 never break. For the next row, 1 red, 2 never break, 1 red. And then we want to do 4 rows of red. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Followed by, for the next row, 1 never break, 2 red, 1 never break. And for the final row, an entire row of never break to give you something which should look like this. What we then want to do is we want to take these 2 end corners of never break that we have at the end of the arm, extend them down each by 3. That's 1, 2, and 3. And this will be 1, 2, 3. We then want to connect each one of those third never bricks together like this. And what we can then do is underneath the arm, we want to basically, for the under part of the arm, just copy what we have for the top part of the arm. So we kind of just want to look up above, and we just want to copy whatever blocks we have. So up above, you see where you have red, you see where you have yellow, never brick. You want to copy all of that onto the under part of the arm. So you want to have that. Then you want to fill the top of the shoulder in with red wool. Then for the side of the arm, we basically just want to copy whatever color we have. So you can see where we have yellow at the top and the bottom, we want to have yellow in between them. Same with the red, same with the never brick, same with all of it. Except when you get to the end here, can you see at the end where we have the never brick? You just want to have red in between that because that's what you have up above as well. So you kind of have like, it kind of looks like a table at the end of his arm. And of course we want to do that on the inside part of his arm as well. So we have red here, never break, and then the rest of it will be red. So we just want to have this. And not that it matters, but the end of Iron Man's arm has sea lanterns in it because this one is powered up. And what we're going to be doing coming out of this arm is, of course, we're going to be having the laser, which is why this is referred to as the fun arm. So the laser is quite easy to do. Take out your white wall. You want to, in line with each one of these 4 sea lanterns, do rows of 6 white wool. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And of course, these rows can be longer, they can be different shapes each. You could kind of have like a trio of white wool if you wanted to, or you could have like a star shape. And we have a row of 6 white wool here. And then underneath this, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So coming out of the lower part of the row of 6, we're going to have another row of 6. And then underneath those rows of 6, we're going to add an additional layer. So can you see how we're now making a staggered laser? And if you want to keep the laser straight, you can, but you don't have to. And then we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're just going to do more layers of white underneath this. And remember that this can be made longer, it can be made a different shape, it can be made a different color. You can use glass if you want to. I bet glass would look good. You know, white stained glass? I bet that would look cool. Anyway, once you've figured out the material, I have found that block of diamond is kind of cool to decorate the laser with. So if you do diamond kind of in like a diagonal shape, like a diagonal layer coming all the way around the laser, as you might be able to see that I'm doing now. We just kind of want a diagonal layer of a block of diamond coming all the way around the laser. You can have a very, very cool effect, and it kind of, because the laser looks a little bit weird, honestly, with just the white wool, if you add the diamond, it very much takes away from the eye the fact that the laser's a little bit weird looking, because it's kind of like all straight lines, and it just makes it look a bit better. If you wanted to, you could add some more, you could add some glass for decoration, of course, around that, so maybe some like sparks flying off and stuff. Up to you. Last thing on our list is we're going to destroy this row of 8 block of diamond. We're going to, underneath the feet here, we're going to connect the bottoms of the front and back of the boots together with netherbrick. We're going to fill the bottom of Iron Man's feet in with sea lanterns, and then we're going to add webs coming down in a very random pattern. You know, like a rocket, like it's activated its thrusters. That's what we're going to have with the web, and we just want to have a satisfactory shape for kind of just like the thrust of Iron Man's boots. You don't have to use this. If you want to, you could make some like pixel art looking fire. You could use some like orange and yellow. Well, I probably wouldn't use red because there's enough red in this statue. To make some like, just to show you that Iron Man is propelling himself off of the ground. I mean, you might like that, you might not. I think it's kind of cool because you've got the sea lanterns lighting it up. It kind of draws your eye to it a little bit, but that's just my opinion. But once all of that's done, you have Iron Man in his full glory, shooting a laser, propelling himself off the ground, and kind of issuing I almost said Iron Man, kind of issuing Captain America a bit of a warning. He's not using his full force laser, it's not like he's activated the chest laser or anything, but he's got, you know, he's a little warning blast, a bit of a tickle for, for Captain America. Hopefully you guys very much enjoy this statue. I know I love this statue, and the only thing I love more than this one is when both of the statues are together. Do remember, oh wow, this is kind of cool, isn't it? Isn't this a cool shot? Wow. Remember that if you do like this statue, please give it a like, give it a favorite, give it a share. I'd honestly really appreciate it. I put a lot of work into this, and not only this one, I also put a lot of work into Captain America's statue, even more than this one as well. If you wouldn't mind, like, favorite, share, honestly, it'd help me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't already. Not only do we do loads of superhero builds and stuff around here, but we make things like giant beds, shulkers. There's a Sonic house over there. That's Mini Steve. That's a castle in the background. Mushroom house, a barn. We do loads of weird stuff around here. I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe, and it'll make it easy to make the other half of this statue. Check out the card system for the only thing that I'm going to be leaving in there. I'm going to be leaving some more superhero related builds, and I'm going to leave Captain America, but I'll also leave him in the description below as well. Thank you very much for watching. Like, favorite, share if you wouldn't mind. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below, who else do you want me to make? I'm thinking about making Black Panther and Spider-Man. We'll have to see. Let me know if you like this card system. Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys in the next video.